Hello and welcome to Inside Music, episode number 153. As always, I'm your host, James Shotwell, and it's great to be with you again. My guest this week is none other than Michael Parks, the multi-instrumentalist and vocalist in the band All Them Witches, who I actually caught live earlier this week at the Intersection in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, if you're unfamiliar with All Them Witches, they play a style of hard rock that is best described as jazz, to be perfectly honest with you, and you're going to hear Parks talk a lot about why that is in this conversation. All Them Witches are currently touring North America with California's Plague Vendor in a run that wraps up on March 24th, and I have to say that if you have the chance to see them live, you absolutely need to, because that is the best way to experience this band. All Them Witches have several full-length albums out, including 2018's ATW, but the songs you hear on those releases are really just a foundation of a concept for what music can be within the context of the band. You see, All Them Witches prides themselves on improvising. In fact, they say 50% of their live show, a 90-minute set each night, is entirely improvised. They claim to never play the same song the same way twice, and that's something that's increasingly rare in the world of rock and roll. These days, it seems like everyone is trying to fine-tune and perfect everything they do, but not All Them Witches. They want to live in the moment. They want to find something amazing each night together, and they are always seeking for what they call the deeper groove. Now, you probably know what a groove is, obviously. It's that thing that happens in a song that just makes you feel connected to it. It's what makes your heart rate change. It's what makes you just feel like the song has become the soundtrack to your life. It's something that's just, you fall into it. But when a band is searching for this deeper groove, that's something a little bit harder to tap into. That's something that's only found in the moment. It's what happens when a group of musicians get into a room with no audience and just start playing together until they find something that works, that clicks, that just makes them stop and go, wow, where did that come from? All Them Witches have a unique ability to find that each and every night, and Parks is going to tell us about how that happens in this conversation. We also talk a lot about what it's like to tour on the road this time of year. As many of you know, it has been a long winter for parts of the United States, and All Them Witches seem to make the same run every single year at the same time, and Parks has road stories to spare. We talk about getting the flu on the road, traveling through blizzards, and why all of that trouble is always worth it by the time the group gets on stage. Now, I don't want to keep you for too long because I think this is a great conversation, but I do want to warn you right now that about 15 minutes into the chat, there's going to be a quick delay because our recording equipment had a pause. It just broke for about 30 seconds, but we caught it immediately, stopped recording, stopped the conversation, I should say, and then we jumped back in. So I'm gonna just appear halfway through this conversation to tell you when that moment comes. We're gonna get right back into it. But before we get to the conversation in full, I do need to tell you a few quick things. First and foremost, this episode of Inside Music and all episodes of Inside Music are brought to you by Holix, the music industry's leading promotional distribution platform. What that means is that Holix works with record labels, independent artists, managers, and publicists from all over the world to share new and unreleased music without fear of piracy. To learn more about how they do this and gain access to a free 30-day trial, visit holix.com. And when you get there, click on the sign up button in the upper right-hand corner, enter your information, and you will receive your first month for free. Cancel before that month ends and you will not be charged, but if you like it, and I sincerely think you will because artists like Chance the Rapper, Blink-182, Metallica, Godsmack, Keith Urban, Niall Horan, A Perfect Circle, and thousands more trust Holix, then just keep using it and have a great time promoting your latest release. I also want to encourage you to check out All Them Witches' latest recording. It is called ATW, and it is available right now on every streaming service and at music retailers worldwide. Now that's all I have for you, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy this great conversation with Parks from All Them Witches. Talk like you do.
All right.
How's today treating you so far?
It was good. It was a short drive. We stopped and got hamburgers. We went to a weird... it's like some guy has this giant garage full of weird stuff, like like fake dinosaur parts and like tons of skeletons and all of these concrete lawn ornaments and things that he makes. And so we had a lot of time to kill, so we're definitely going there.
Where was that at?
It was in somewhere. I don't know.
Where'd you guys play yesterday if it was a short drive?
It was a day off yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So we stayed in Michigan City.
All right, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty fine.
We played in Madison the day before that.
Okay. Oof. Well, that part's not as fun of a drive.
That's, we've had worse drives for sure.
You guys are actually here on what I think is the nicest day of the year so far. So.
I hope so, yeah.
Congratulations.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It was gorgeous when we rolled up. So.
The sun is in the sky.
It was snowing in Minneapolis, so it's much better.
I just moved back here from Minneapolis, so I'm well versed in those winters.
Gotcha.
They suck.
Yeah.
It's still terrible?
It was fine. It's funny, before tour, the drummer Robbie and I were like, we got to get tires for the van. We gotta get better tires for the van. And Ben was fighting us on it. And luckily we got snow tires for the van. It was like 8 inches of snow falling in Minneapolis or something. So
fantastic.
It was fun.
Well, you guys this is like smack dab in the middle of the run, right? You started on the 1st. It's the 12th today, I think.
Yeah, I just realized that today. I was like, damn, we've been on the road for a while. It's like, oh, halfway done.
Yeah. Do you, I always feel like when I used to do tour managing and stuff, you get to like the halfway point, and that's kind of when you first start to feel like, oh, we've been, like you said, you're like, oh, I've been on the road for a minute now. Do you still got all the energy in you that you had when you started, or are you feeling it now?
No, I think I just caught my second wind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because for me, I get really beat up the first 4 or 5 days, and like my fingers hurt, my body hurts, and I'm not getting enough sleep, and blah 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 blah. But no, now I feel fine. I'm ready to keep going for another couple of weeks.
For another 2 weeks. Well, you guys have a lot of plans for this year tour wise, though, right?
Yeah, we go to Europe 16 days after this.
Okay.
Tour ends.
How do you plan to spend those 16 days?
I'm moving.
Oh, fun. Easy, fun, relaxing times.
Yeah, and not just like down the street, but like
still.
a different state,
Oh.
5 hours.
Oh, no.
I have to move. I don't have that much stuff, just like a bunch of books and music gear and stuff.
Like everyone in music, just like books and gear.
Books and records and gear, and that's it. Like a bag of clothes.
Yeah, one bag.
Right.
One bag of clothes, varying on how far I have to travel.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I've got. So I got to move all that stuff, and that's how I'm spending my.
And then by the time you're done and you're like, settled.
Right.
Back on the road.
Yeah. Well, it won't be that easy. I have to move in 2 different sections, so I have to just move stuff to the place. I can't actually move into my house.
Okay.
But I have to go back and get more stuff, and then
Oh Lord.
And it's all very pressing, but you can't do anything about that on the road. Like there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you're just waiting.
Yeah, so you just sit there and you dread. It's like, oh man, that 2 weeks is gonna be crazy, but I can't do I can't prepare for it in this van. I prepared for it as much as I could before I left.
But I say, did you start packing at least?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's easy. It's pretty easy for me, but when it comes
Yeah.
to like some bigger pieces of furniture, it may not be so easy. It's gonna be a quick dance.
I just moved in with my girlfriend, and it was, thankfully we moved into her apartment, which was much smaller, so it was just a process of like throwing shit out.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah.
You just like, as little as I want a cake, and then everything else, just get rid of this. That's a much easier.
Yeah, I've been like cutting stuff out for a long time, and now I have all of this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I really like this stuff. It's like the good shit. You got rid of all of the kind of amateur shit that you acquire, and then you get, I don't know, stuff that I hope to have for a very long time. But I kind of just want to leave it on the side of the road.
Yeah. No, there's the comedian Tom Rhodes has some bit where he refers to that as like my collection of $20 purchases. That's the shit you can just get rid of. You're like $20, and then everything else you're like, this is just my stuff
true.
now.
I didn't think about that, like at a price point.
Yeah. It's like a $20 purchase, and you're like, it's fine. I can replace it, get rid of it. Well, until then, you got a little bit of road time going. Has it treated you well so far?
Yeah, last time we did this run, we all got the flu.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, 2 times ago we did this
Knock
run.
on wood. Knock on wood.
The last one was the blizzard run. That was really hard. But it's always this run. We always do it in the winter for some reason. But,
I'd say, you think you'd learn a lesson.
Yeah, you just got to go where the people are at the right time. And for us, it's this time in this area. So, so it's been a lot better than that. I feel very healthy now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to go down from those 2 points, I guess.
Yeah. Last time we played, I'd forgotten the room in Madison that we'd played. We played there a bunch.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I walked in the green room that I was like, oh yeah, last time I was here, I was throwing up for 9 hours. And all of these things kind of bring back weird memories whenever you hit the venue twice.
So now it's like, this show can't be that bad. It's already
The show was
gonna be
10,000 times better than that.
Well, that's good.
I can even smile, you know?
Yeah. You don't hate every bodily movement that you're making?
No, it was bad. That was the kind of sick where you throw up for a full day, and then you have like a 3 or 4 day hangover afterwards from but never having drank anything.
It's good. Have you found a way to at least pull together for the 45 minutes to an hour you're on stage? That like superpower of stage health?
I did a bunch of superpower shit at the hotel to like be able to get on stage. But yeah, once you're on there, it's fine.
We're on stage for an hour and a half.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, well, I always read about stage health. I've fortunately never had to deal with it myself, but just like being that sick and then like it's time to play, your body just like finds a way to do it for that long.
Yeah, I think once you get like back into the motions, it's just like having a job. You know, you have a little bit of a purpose, and you can kind of focus on that for a minute instead of laying around and being completely useless and like driving for 8 hours at a time.
The show ends and you're back to terrible.
I've had shows where I got off stage and passed out in the hallway.
That's the
that was
dream, I
That
guess.
was in Montreal. Yeah, that was in the winter too, though. It's just like where you like get off stage and you feel so sick, but the green room is full of people.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do anything about it, and the only open spot was like an empty hallway by the door. Just try to catch 20 minutes and load your gear.
Find the strength to take the gear outside
Yeah,
and then
take
get in the van.
gear, drive in the snow, go to sleep in the van. You know.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a good life.
That's the dream, right? That's like how you pictured
all
it.
of you people thinking that you want to be a musician,
There you go.
who said let it kill? Yeah, somebody said let it kill you. Find what you love and let it kill you, or something.
Sometimes music just does it whether or not you want it to.
So true. It'll take your voice and your ears and your body
Yeah.
and your humility.
Your humility.
It'll take your relationships with people away. It's but it's very meaningful. I feel like it's a very kind of a dying thing.
Yeah.
Being a musician is kind of, although it's like such a prevalent
Part of life.
especially to us now, like entertainment is like 100% in human world at this point in time. And I don't know, actually having to go out and like play shows and be on the road, I don't know how long that's going to be around.
Yeah, like road dogging it.
Yeah, like really road dogging it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be there forever, but
I mean,
it kind of feels like a dying art.
I feel like it always kind of feels like a dying art, and then the fact that there's still like that mysticism to it in some way. You can tell everyone all the terrible stories, and they're like, yeah, but wasn't? I mean, come on, it's still. At the end of the day, you wouldn't trade it for anything. So.
Yeah. I have a lot of people come up and say that it's like you're living my dream. I was like, that's so. I mean, that's really humbling, because if your dream is like half the shit that you do in your band, like half of the bad shit you have to do.
That's nice. But I mean, it is still, someone tells you that and your brain just replays like the last 24 hours and you're like, well, let me see, it was -6 when we loaded into the van last night. We drove through a snowstorm.
I forgot to charge my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in the van and like don't do anything for like 9 hours.
Can't remember the last green vegetable I ate.
Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah. Had a salad the other day I was really stoked on.
Yeah. Salad is definitely not 98% water.
Exactly, yeah. It was like a real salad. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, those are real dreams.
It's funny. You live for those moments.
Yes.
The moments you can take advantage of, like keeping yourself healthy. I think Robbie's going to exercise right now and do laundry. Self-care is a big.
I heard him say laundry, and I was like, "There's a dream moment."
You got to take it when you can.
Showers, same thing.
Because laundry is not available.
No,
ever.
It's rare.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this tour and the idea of setting it up. Did you guys ask Plague Vendor to come out? Like, how did you two kind of connect in the first place?
We met them in Sacramento at a festival called.
Rock Festival.
Big rock festival under the overpass. Hey, what was that Sacramento festival called?
Aftershock.
Aftershock. There we go.
Aftershock
That's the
Festival.
one.
and I had never heard him before. And Ben, our guitarist, he's like, oh yeah, I've heard this band, like people, they said blah 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 about him, and watched him on stage and really liked him.
Yeah.
And kind of met him afterwards, and then when I was looking at the list, I picked all the bands that come out with us, and when I was looking at the list, I didn't really find anybody that I wanted to go out with, and then the very last second they're like, oh, Plague Bender, and it was just an obvious choice.
Yeah.
And they're super great guys, and they're really good hang, and that's 99.999, because like when they're playing, that's their own thing, but the rest of the time when we all have to be together, you have to be able to stand each other. So I really like whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
As people and on stage, they're really great.
Yeah, I think they're a great band to have open for you also. That like I feel like they're one of those bands that could go into any room and they'll win over the crowd, even if the crowd's not really sold on, don't know who they are. They just have that thing where you're like, okay, I'll watch this. I don't know what's happening, but
it's cool. Like because we don't have like a lead singer, right? It's cool to see a band with a lead singer. You get to interact with the crowd a lot more. You have to.
Yeah.
Like being a guy without an instrument, that's a really tough gig. So I really respect Brandon for being able to go and like interact with the crowd. Because sometimes I think it's like, man, I hate being tethered here. I wish I could like climb the rafters and like jump off shit. And but you have to be back at the microphone at certain points.
Exactly.
There's only 3 of us, so you have to keep playing. But yeah, so it's nice having a band that it can be so interactive with the audience before we get on stage as well, because they get to have a different experience.
Well, I think you guys pair well because you're very much doing different things in the realm of rock, but you both are bands that I feel like know how to find a groove.
Yeah.
Like there's something about, like we can hear them right now through the wall, and you're just like, oh, there's something there where you're like, okay, I can just roll with this. Like if you're into that. Something I was curious about you guys that I've always loved about it is that ability. So like for you, what is your process of writing songs in the way that like you guys always seem to hit this groove? So I was talking to the venue photographer here today, and he was just listening to the bands for tonight, and he was like, these guys remind me of this and this, and he's like, but every one of their sones there's like a riff or a groove, and then after like 3 minutes it just explodes and gets real weird. I was like that's a pretty apt description. I mean there's a lot of grooving going on. So for you, like how do you find that? How do you get into that mode? Like where does that come from for you?
We write songs in all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
The groove definitely comes from all of us being together. Like I don't write a groove, and Ben doesn't like write a groove. Like we only ever find the groove if we're all on stage or like in the same room playing.
It's basically the magic, the element of magic.
Yeah, just the weird telepathy that you gain from playing music. Like being able to interact with these people that you spend so much time with, and you have to like without looking at them, even if like half of our set is improv, and so like you just know something's gonna change, you can kind of guess. Half the time you're right, and if you're wrong, it still works. It's a very, you learn from that experience, and it's I don't know. Yeah, the groove just comes from that. Like I write a bulk of the songs. I write all of the lyrics from the second album on, and I don't know. We just write in all kinds of ways, but yeah, the magic really happens whenever
someone brings some idea in. You guys start working it out.
Ben and I will have like sections of different. Like a lot of our songs, they sound like completely different. There's like half and half.
Yeah, and it just kind of splits at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
It changes into something different. That's a lot of like I'll have something and Ben will have something, and we'll just just stick it together.
How do we forge these two pieces?
Right. It's like it's right here. That's how you do it.
Transition bar.
Simon. Okay. So, but then you can tell songs that are all jam, like that were born out of being a jam. You can definitely tell my songs from Ben's songs, I feel like.
For people that are new to the band, what would you say is like the giveaway if it's your song? Is it like how you write the lyrics? Is it something in the music?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not that obvious. I don't know. It's obvious to me
because you spend so much time
with
them.
Yeah. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not obvious from a. I wonder if fans can tell what I write and what Ben writes. I wonder if anybody knows them that much. I mean, nobody thinks about our band as much as as we think about our band, which is a funny thing to think about. You like do interviews and you go and you tour around and stuff, but like nobody's ever like thinking about you 24/7 like you're thinking about yourself 24/7.
I mean, you'd hope not, I guess.
Yeah, no, I would hope not. You think about that as well as like, you know, big bands like the Stones or Stooges or whatever, and like nobody's thinking about the Stooges 24/7 or the Stones.
Hey guys, this is the moment I was telling you about. We had a brief interruption with our recording equipment, but we jumped back in for about another 5 minutes, so please enjoy the rest of this conversation with Parks. And once again, be sure to check out All Them Witches' album, ATW, which is out right now. Thank you for listening. Calls.
Gotcha.
No, it's fine. I actually, I just saw Kiss like 2 nights ago, and you make a great point where the whole time I was like, this is so methodical. Like, this seems just tiring to think about all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very extreme example, but it is just like, Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine being in Kiss? You like, you wait. I wonder how long it takes to do the makeup.
Do the makeup, put on those heels, learn to walk in them, and then master walking them.
They've got the walking in them.
Yeah.
They don't. You mean they don't wear like New Balances, like white New Balances at this point with the rest
You
of the.
think you're watching
armor.
Paul still wears a vest, and he has old man arms now. You know what I mean? Like no matter how toned he is, you just can tell. And then he's like dancing in those stilettos. You're like, well, I can't do that. So.
Dude, exactly. I can't get up there and dance in stilettos. Like, that's crazy.
And there was like 18 semi trucks. I was like, this is too. Like, how do you think about all this every day?
What size was the room? How big
It's
was
the arena across the street, so like 10,000 cap.
Wow.
But that many trucks, that many people, it's like that's a 100-person crew. Just to think about all that every day.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude. I don't
You know how hard it is to be in like in just like what I would call a normal band.
Yeah, right. And like we went out. Okay, so we went out with like Primus and Mastodon. And I think that total they had maybe 4 trucks.
Yeah.
You know, to think of like 18 trucks.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has 30 trucks. You know, like that kind of shit. Like 21 Pilots. How many trucks do they have? They have an insane amount of trucks.
Yeah.
Saw Sigur Rós, and they just have. I don't know. They just have like an erector set. They have this massive erector set that they put up.
It just kind of like
scrim.
expands out.
Yeah, and you just hire local to like put it together.
That's the way to do it.
Make it easy enough to, you don't have to bring a huge crew. I don't know.
But I feel like none of that really matters unless you can like capture that magic, and that's what I dig about you guys. And even like doesn't matter the record or anything. When you hear your songs, you have that magic, and I guess you call it the groove, where there's something that happens.
We call it the deeper groove. Actually, if you want to get technical, we call it the deeper groove because the groove is there and you can hit the groove, but the deeper groove is when you forget that anybody's watching what you're doing and you're just playing.
It feels like you're a fly on the wall in the garage to the listener.
Sure, yeah, that's like they're not putting on a show for you. They're like interacting with each other. That's the deeper groove.
It's as close to jazz as like rock can get in some ways.
Yeah, improv and rock, if you can pull it off, is like, I mean, that is, that's jazz.
Yeah, it is jazz.
Because there's the same kinds of genres in jazz as there are in rock. So.
Mm-hmm. Is that what your favorite part of the live show is, just not knowing what's going to happen? Whereas most artists that go into it knowing what's going to happen, 10 songs you're in and out. For you guys, is it you don't know?
Yeah. That's my favorite part, is the stuff that I don't know.
How does it come off the rails, though?
Yeah, all the time. We mess up 24/7.
Every night there's
Every
something.
Every night, yeah. I mean, it's no. We've never played the song the same. Any of our songs, we've never played it the same.
Mm.
We're not one of those bands that set out to like practice and get something right, to like show to people. We started with something really raw, and then we like to grow with it. So every night is different, and every song is different, and it all comes off in a different way. Yeah, it definitely goes off the rails. Yeah.
The magic is in finding a way to get it back on the rails.
Like I was saying, those first 5 or 6 days where you feel like you're getting beat up, it goes way off the rails for me. And those, I'm forgetting lyrics. I'm like messing up my bass parts because I don't practice enough, and like that. Yeah, it goes off the rails.
Well, no, I imagine that makes creating albums really difficult for you, because you're gotta at some point you have to be like, this is done, I guess, done enough.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. We have never spent more than 6 days recording a record.
That's crazy to me. Even no matter, especially even the newest one, there is that looseness where it's like I don't know how you would ever be like, that's done. That song is complete. Is it more just like, here's enough foundations that we can now go on tour and build from this?
Yeah, and I don't ever really listen, like, the first month or so, more like 4, probably 4 months, where you're just, like, listening to the record and like, is this good enough? I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like, is that bass part good enough? I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter, you know, because it's just going to change anyways. So, I think of songs like, songs of ours like Harvest Feast, like, there is no bass part. Like, there's no bass part. I play one note, and you change in the measure, and, like, that's kind of my thing. It's like, you duck around where the beats are supposed to be. But live, I get to do whatever I can pull off. It's not like whatever I want. It's like, what is my body going to let me do tonight? Okay, great. That worked out great. And when it works, and when it doesn't, it's funny.
Yeah.
And just laugh. I laugh when my friends mess up. I don't get mad at them if they mess up because I mess up all the time.
I love it. That's great.